Volcanoes National Park, Hawaii is coming up next. Hey guys, this is Ankit and in this video we will learn about the top things to do in Big Island, Hawaii, which is visiting the Volcanoes National Park in 2021. Want to get amazed by the active volcanoes? Then this is the place for you. In the Volcano National Park, you will be visiting the world's biggest active volcano, Mauna Loa and Kīlauea. And apart from those, the highlights of the park are Crater Rim Drive, Halemaumau Crater, Pu'uloa Chain of Craters Road, and the Kahuku Unit. To enter Volcano National Park, you need to pay an entrance fee. The updated price is on the nbs.gov website. I consider hiking and trekking to enjoy the beauty of nature. So in Volcano National Park, there are day hiking and backcountry hiking opportunities. If you are a day hiker, then Crater Rim Trail is perfect for you. Here, you will be witnessing outstanding views, crossing the summit caldera of Kīlauea, steam vents, and enjoying the beauty of flora and fauna. And you can access it from several locations such as Crater Rim Drive, including Kīlauea Overlook, steam vents, and Volcano House. Wanna experience a lava landscape from the Mauna Ulu flow of 1969 to 74? Here, you will be hiking by lava tree molds and will climb on the top of a forested cinder cone known as Hairy Hill. On a clear day, you will witness Mauna Loa and Maunaiki and the Pacific Ocean on this track. This trail starts from the Mauna Ulu parking area, and ahu stacked rocks are used to mark the trail, so it's better not to disturb the old or build new ones. This day hike will amaze you from the images carved on stone. These images document the life of native Hawaiian people. This is a sacred trail on a 500 to 550-year-old lava field that has approximately 23,000 petroglyphs. This trail begins from the Pu'uloa parking area on Chain of Craters Road. Formed by the summit collapse of Kīlauea in 1400s, Keanakākoʻi Crater is 115 feet deep. The trailhead begins near the parking lot, exit on Crater Rim Drive, and the round trip is 2 miles on foot. This hike is for those who can withstand the gas that smells like rotten eggs, as this is a volcanic thermal area, so it has only a few trees known as akulamanu. And if you are wondering what I was talking about, that rotten eggs, then it's the smell from the underground gases that seep out of the ground. However, be advised, this hike is not for those with respiratory problems, pregnant women, infants, or young children. And the round trip starts from Kīlauea Visitor Center and is around 1.2 miles. It's a small trail to the floor of Pali that can amaze you with panoramic views. The trail begins from behind the volcano house of Crater Rim Trail. However, there are 2 hiking options, one way from Crater Rim Trail to the floor of Pali, which is just 0.8 miles, and 1.3 miles, which is one way from Crater Rim Trail to the top of Byron Ledge. And from there, you can hike for Kīlauea Iki and Nāhuku. Wanna walk on solidified lava lake? Then this is the hike for you. Here you will be crossing the lush green forest to reach the floor of the Kīlauea Iki crater. This hike had 3 starting points. One from Kīlauea Iki Overlook. From there it's around 3.3 miles loop, but here the parking is extremely limited. Another option is from Kīlauea Visitor Center, which is 5.3 mile round trip, and third is from Devastation Trailhead, which is around 6 miles. And if you start from the Devastation Trailhead, then you will be exploring Byron Ledge, Kīlauea Iki, and Nāhuku Lava Tube and Devastation Trail all in one hike. Discovered in 1930, this lava tube consists of a whole different ecosystem that you would love to gaze at. You will be walking inside a 500-year-old lava tube where once a river of 2000 degree Fahrenheit lava flowed. It's a trail to witness the returning life on a recovering landscape that was buried by falling cinder from the lava fountains of the 1959 Kīlauea Iki eruption. The distance is around 1 mile and you can start from Devastation Trailhead or parking lot, both off Crater Rim Drive. It's a walk along an old road that was damaged in an earthquake of 1983, which leads to the panoramic view of Kaʻaha, Kīlauea Caldera and Halemaumau crater. Locally, sometimes this area is called the Earthquake Trail. The hike is approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour. If you want to witness some of the rarest plants and animals in Hawaii, then this 1.2-mile trail is for you. This walk will take you through an area of older vegetation surrounded by the recent lava flow of the Mauna Loa. The trail begins at the Kīpukapuaulu parking area. In 1790, an explosion occurred in the summit of Kilauea, which involved a torrent of hot gas, ash and sand that rained down on the Kaʻaha Desert. At that time, there were native Hawaiians who were caught in the middle of this deadly storm. They walked on the trail full of ash, which we can see today. After an easy walk about 0.8 miles from the Kaʻaha Desert trailhead, you will find a shelter where you will see more footprints. This hike has 2 trailheads, the Kaʻaha Desert trailhead on Highway 11 and the Maunaiki trailhead on Halina Pali Road. And make sure to carry eye protection and dust masks as there is a large amount of ash from the 2018 summit collapse which can become airborne. Byron Ledge provides an excellent view of Pu'uloa cinder cone and sporadic vistas of Kīlauea Caldera. This trail is connected to the Kīlauea Iki loop as well as Thurston lava tube. It is 1.1 miles one way from Devastation Trailhead to the intersection with Kīlauea Iki Trailhead. So these are the locations for day hikers. For updates and more information, I would recommend you to check the official website mentioned in the description. Now let's talk about the backcountry hiking opportunities. Before that, I must aware that permits are required to stay in campsites, so please have a look at the website given in the description before preparing. If you want to trek towards the south-facing shore of the park, then the Āpua Point hike is for you. It's a 6.6-mile hike from Puna Coast Trailhead. Here at Āpua Point, you can pitch the tents and witness beautiful tide pools, sparkling ocean on one side and lava-streaked escarpment on the other. The campsite can be accessed from 2 trailheads, Pu'uloa Petroglyphs via the Puna Coast Trail, which is 6.6 miles, and another is from Mauna Ulu via the Keauhou Trail and the Puna Coast Trail, which is 10.7 miles. While on this hike, stay prepared with sun protection as it might be hot. If you want to go on an overnight adventure, then this trail is for you. It's a hard and adventurous trail with a lot of things to explore, and there is no shade to stay. So stay prepared with sun protection and more than 5 liters of water per person. Water catchment is available at the camping spots, but make sure to treat it before use. And you may enjoy a private beach as there is no one. The campsite can be accessed from multiple trailheads. The first one is from Mauna Ulu via the Keauhou Trail, which is 7.6 miles. Secondly, from Pu'uloa via Puna Coast Trail, which is 9.7 miles. And the third one is Helena Pali Overlook, which is 10 plus miles, so it is not recommended. It is a trail for the professionals who know how to navigate, as the section of this trail is badly overgrown. Halapē is located on the southern seacoast of Hawaii Volcano National Park. The campsite is 8 miles from the closest trailhead, and this is a hot hike, so if you are planning for it, then stay prepared. Campsite can be accessed from multiple trailheads. First, from Mauna Loa or Mauna Ulu via the Keauhou Trail. Second, from Helena Pali Overlook via the Helena Pali Trail. And third, Pu'uloa via the Puna Coast Trail. If you want to explore a remote trail almost away from the crowd, then this is the trail for you. And as Kaʻaha is located on the southern coastline, you may spot green turtles swimming or resting on the shore. It can be accessed by multiple ways. One from Helena Pali Overlook Trailhead, which is 3.6 miles. Next from Mauna Loa or Mauna Ulu Trailhead, that is 11.5 miles. And third from Pu'uloa Trailhead via the Puna Coast Trail, which is 17.4 miles. These hikes give you an opportunity to witness the world's largest active volcano, Mauna Loa summit, where you will be enjoying walking over the volcanic rocks, as it is at the height of 4,170 meters, so this is a challenging hike. The Mauna Loa summit can be accessed from two ways. The first one is from inside of Volcano National Park, and another is from Mauna Loa Observatory. From Mauna Loa Road, it is a 2-day hike. First day is from Mauna Loa Lookout to Pu'uloa, and day 2 is Pu'uloa Cabin to Summit Cabin, which is 11.6 miles. And from the observatory, it's a day hike, which is around 6.4 miles, and you can do a round trip. The Nāpau Trail provides opportunities for hikers to experience a diversity of environment. The Nāpau Trail passes through lava flows from the Mauna Ulu eruptions. This trail can be accessed from two ways: the Mauna Ulu parking area and the Nāulu trailhead on Chain of Craters Road. It's an open site surrounded by grass and lava fields. This is so remote trail that even the cabin is not maintained and is not safe for use. So if you choose this trail, then make sure to carry camping gear. This can be accessed from two trailheads: Helena Pali Overlook via Helena Pali Trail and from Kaʻaha Desert Trailhead. And you must be physically fit to trek on all these trails, and a total of 16 hikers are allowed per night, and the camper can only stay maximum 3 consecutive nights at a single site. So stay prepared with a proper backpacking gear with sleeping bag, tents, food supply if you are planning to camp. For detailed information, please refer to the official website in the description. Crater Rim Drive is popular, where you will drive around the summit of Kīlauea. While on the route, you can make scenic stops at Kīlauea Overlook, from where you will see the most dramatic views of Kīlauea caldera and Halemaumau crater. From here, you can hike along Crater Rim Trail. The next stop is Wahine Kapu, where you will feel the heat of the volcano rises from steam vents. After Wahine Kapu, the next scenic point is akulamanu, which is popularly known as Sulphur Banks, where volcanic gases seep out of the ground with water steam. Here you will expect rotten smell of hydrogen sulfide and sulfur dioxide. Here you will enjoy a beautiful landscape of Kīlauea Iki crater, but in 1959 it was a lava lake with lava fountains up to 1900 feet high. The next is Pu'uloa Overlook. From here you will enjoy the view of Kīlauea Iki crater and will start hiking to Devastation Trail. However, it is only accessible via a short hike that begins from the Devastation Trailhead parking lot. It's a 31-kilometer long road located in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, which will take you from an altitude of 4,000 feet to sea level and back again. It starts from Makaupu'i and ends at rim of Makaupu'i Crater. While driving on this road, you will witness pit craters, dormant lava flows, plumes from lava tubes, and sites that can be accessed by trail from road. Through this road, you will see Lu'umanu and July 1974 flow, Pu'uloa Crater, Pa'uahi Crater, which hosted 3 eruptions in recent times, Mauna Loa, Mauna Ulu, a lava blanket, Keanakākoʻi overlook from where you will enjoy the views towards the Pacific Ocean, Alanui Kiheko, where you will see the remains of old crater road, Pu'uloa Petroglyphs, which is a sacred site and the largest grouping of petroglyphs in Hawaii, and Halapē Sea Arch, a beautiful sea arch. The Kahuku Unit once used to be the biggest cattle ranches in Hawaii, but later it was punctuated by volcanoes, and now it provides an amazing landscape on the planet. If you love to hike, then this is the place for you. Here you can take a hike to different locations such as Pu'uloa Trail, where you will see historic ranch roads, Keanakākoʻi Trail, which leads you through the grassy meadows, Palm Trail, where you will enjoy the best panoramic views in Kahuku, Pali Trail, where you will see two-land meadows, Pit Crater Trail, which will lead you to the edge of huge pit crater, the Glover Trail, where you will see the pristine Hawaiian rainforest, and the Kona Trail, where you will experience the relics of Kahuku ranching era. So these were some of the top things in Volcano National Park, Hawaii. So which one of these are you planning for? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more of Hawaii and other travel informative videos, then make sure to subscribe. So are you still with me? If yes, then the video on Volcano National Park is completed, but I will be continuing this video as I have to add some more information regarding Hawaii, and later in the video I will introduce myself and why I am creating these videos and who am I. So if you are excited, then grab some snacks and other stuff because this is going to be a longer one. Anyway, if you have decided to leave, then thanks for watching till here. So let's continue. Now I will adding the part about how you can enter into Hawaii and what are the inter-island travel rules. And then another part will be about Mauna Loa, and in the end my story will start. So if you want to jump directly to my story, then you can use the timestamps Hawaii travel restriction that you must know before planning to Hawaii is coming up next. Hey guys, this is Ankit, and if you are about to book a flight to Hawaii in 2021, then you must know a few things. Hawaii has a mandatory quarantine for 10 days, but to skip it, you need a COVID test, specifically the NAT test, 72 hours before the final flight to Hawaii. For example, if your flight departs from Chicago, connects Seattle, and arrive in Honolulu, departure time will be based on Seattle time. One more catch, they only accept the test results from their trusted traveling partners, whose list is in the description. And if you choose Walgreens, then rapid diagnostic tests, ID Now, and PCR are the NAT tests. However, rapid antigen test is not approved for Hawaii travel. And if you are unable to find any trusted traveling partners lab near you, then you can go for Express Check, a chain of lab testing on airports. So you can make an appointment online. However, it is a bit costly. After you got the test results, you will register for Safe Travel program, where you will put all the detail of the journey, your travel leg, and COVID test results as well. And Finally, after verification, you will receive a health questionnaire 24 hours before your journey. After that, you will be receiving a QR code, which is the key for Hawaii. And one more tip, remember your username and password for safe travel program, as a lot of hotels may ask you to show the QR code from the website. Now, some of you may wonder about the health questionnaire. Then these are the questions which you have to answer in yes or no. Do you feel ill now? Have you had a flu vaccine? Have you taken a medicine, Tylenol or ibuprofen in the last 24 hours to bring your fever down? Have you signed a 14-day quarantine order that is currently in effect? Have you traveled outside the state of Hawaii other than your home state in the last 14 days? So these are the questions. And if you are one of those who had been vaccinated, well, sad news, as you also have to provide a COVID negative test report prior to your travel. And those who are recovered from COVID-19, you will need a copy of positive molecular COVID-19 test from CLIA certified lab no more than 90 days and no less than 11 days prior to your departure, and a signed letter from a medical provider stating that you have not exhibited symptoms and are fully recovered, which must be signed 10 days after your positive test and not more than 14 days from your departure date. And make sure to check out the detailed info from the link in the description where you can apply for exemption. Finding this information useful? Click the like button and subscribe as well, because I will be bringing more such videos. Now all done, it's time for Aloha. But wait, you have to show the QR code and other documents on the screening area when you reach Honolulu Airport. And one more thing, each and every person in your group has to sign up for the Safe Travels program, and it is free of cost. Now, some flight companies such as Delta have partnered with Clear, which offer advanced screening before you reach Hawaii. You can enroll in Clear for free. Check the link in the description to know more. Apart from that, if you haven't received the COVID-19 report upon arrival in Hawaii, then you will have to undergo 10 days of self-quarantine, and even after that you receive a negative report, you cannot leave the quarantine. With that, you also have to bear all the quarantine expenses. So it's better to come with a COVID test. Get ready with your masks, as you have to strictly wear them in public places. And if you are looking for an adventure in Waikiki, then look at the video from the card above and book your adventure in advance, as limited spots are available. Also, let me know in comments which activity would you love to do in Hawaii. And for travelers from Canada, Japan and South Korea, you can visit Hawaii under the travel bubble. So these are the Hawaii travel restrictions in 2021. Please make sure to check out the official website in the description for updated information. Thanks for sticking till the end. I'll be back in another video. Goodbye and enjoy the journey. How to trek to Mauna Loa is coming up next. Hey guys, this is Ankit and welcome to Travelgrammer World, where we talk about the information regarding traveling. Mauna Loa is the largest active volcano in the world, which encompasses half the island of Hawaii. Locally, it is known as the Long Mountain which is so huge that it rises 13,000 feet above the sea level and 42,000 feet beneath the ocean and seafloor. It is one of the 2 volcanoes in Hawaii Volcano National Park, which is located in the south central part of the island of Hawaii, also known as Big Island. If Mauna Loa is your first destination, then take a flight to Hilo International Airport, as from there it will only take 45 minutes to reach Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Now, there are 2 ways of the trek. One from Volcanoes National Park, and from there it's a multi-day hike to Mauna Loa summit, whereas another hike is from Mauna Loa Observatory, which you can finish in a single day, but it's a challenging one. But if in case you landed at Kona International Airport, then you will have to drive 2 hours 15 minutes to reach the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. So as per the information on the internet, there are no rental service inside the national park. So it will be a great idea to rent at the airport. Other than that, you can take a public bus, Halema bus, but it runs on a fixed route. Now, before moving on, guys, make sure to check all the official links for the latest updates which are provided in the description of this video before you start planning. To enter Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, you have to pay an entrance fee, and the entry will be valid for 7 days. Other than that, you can apply for passes if you love to visit the place frequently, and you will get a detailed information about them in this video. You will also have to register and obtain a permit which costs $10 additionally per trip, and it is good up to 10 people and 7 nights per permit. And you will receive the permit from the Backcountry office in Volcano National Park, where you will find out the current water catchment, tank levels, cabin occupancy, and mountain condition. Permit fees can be paid in person at the Backcountry office or online through pay.gov up to a week in advance. However, permit request to hike Mauna Loa from the Weather Observatory may be done by phone, and according to this article, you may not need to pay for permits as it's only a day hike, but make sure to confirm it over the phone. However, from the national park, it's a multi-day hike. Now, if you are taking the Mauna Loa trail, which is inside the national park, then road past Kīpukapuaulu is only open for bicyclists and hikers to Mauna Loa Overlook, which is at 6,662 feet. So, first you will start from Mauna Loa Lookout to Pu'uloa, which is 12.1 km, and then from Pu'uloa to Summit Cabin is 18.7 km. So it will take 2 days. Whereas if you are taking the Observatory Road, then the distance is 10.3 km from the observatory to the actual summit. So the round trip takes 20 km in a day, and the elevation gain will be around 2700 meters. And I found a detailed article on the internet where the author took the observatory trail. So make sure to have a look at it. And as you might know, there are certain restrictions if you are planning to visit in this pandemic. So make sure to check out the video from the card above where you can learn about the restrictions and how you can seek 10 days quarantine exemption upon arrival in Hawaii. So, are you finding this video useful? If yes, then click on like, subscribe and share it with your friend who might be planning for Mauna Loa. With that, you can also share your travel pics with our Instagram community. Now, talking about the preparation, you need to pack a down jacket, a hoodie, as with altitude increment, the temperature will fall down, a hat, altitude sickness medication, and a 20° Fahrenheit sleeping bag if you are trekking in winters. So make sure to check out weather and temperature forecast. And from my experience of trekking in Nepal, I can say that please use high ankle trekking boots as it will prevent you from ankle twisting, and make sure to carry rain protection as well. So, are you interested in where I trekked in Nepal? If yes, then have a look at those vlogs from the card and make sure to turn on the captions as those videos are in Indian language. Additionally, you can pack sun cream, SPF 30 and sunglasses. Now, if you are one of the adventure seekers who don't want to trek but want to see the big island, then you will love to book a helicopter tour. Excited? Check out the availability from the link in the description. So that's all that I came to know about the Mauna Loa. If you guys have any updated information, let me know here in the comments as it will help the community. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you in the next video. Make sure to check these other videos for more Hawaii travel information. Goodbye. Now it's my story time. Hi guys, I am Ankit and I am the person behind Travelgrammer World. So why Travelgrammer World? Guys, actually I was or am a beginner solo traveler, and I was on my third solo journey around Nepal, Bhutan and northeast part of India. And it was around 2020 of February when this pandemic hit most of the parts of the world. Then I decided to get back to my home, and since then I am at my home. So after the pandemic hit, it was a lockdown, and then in September I moved to my village. And as you can see, this is my village home where I live solo. Now first thing I want to tell you that I am or was an introvert, and to control that anxiety and introvertness I started vlogging while traveling. And 5 years ago I was the guy who tend to stay inside the walls. I was the one who used to skip people. So guys, I live in the hills of Uttarakhand and my mother tongue is Garhwali, a regional language of India, but I speak Hindi a lot of time, so English is not my primary language. And pardon me guys if any of my words become insensible to you. So I am a solo traveler who vlogs his journey, which you can see from the card above. Now, as I told you that I am an introvert, so you might be thinking how this introvert is vlogging. Well, the answer is it was a whole process. When I was so into introvertness, a part of me always wanted to break that barrier of fear, to speak with people, to travel. And I always used to think how the life will be when a person is traveling, meeting new people all from all around the world. So a lot of you may know that a push is required to break the barrier of the fear or the comfort zone. Now that push was YouTube. In 2017, I started watching vlogs of an Indian traveler. He is a solo traveler and he used to travel outside of India. For the first time, I had seen anybody asking for lifts, staying with locals, which we know couch surfing, and interacting with people, a lot of people, and sharing that happiness of those moments in his vlogs. I was into his videos so much that I kept on watching one after another, and those were full of happiness and joy, and it felt like I was traveling with that person. You want to check who is that guy? You can check his videos from the card. At that time, it was 2017 happened, 2018 came and went. All the time I was watching his videos, thinking in my mind that I can't travel solo. I was enjoying those videos so much that one day a video appeared in my feed, and I still remember that lady was telling that if you enjoy watching some content so much, then you must try that role in your own life. For example, I was enjoying his videos of traveling solo and interacting with a lot of people. So that idea came into my mind about being traveling solo. However, I was introvert and I wanted to break that barrier of fear. So I started vlogging. And if you are still interested how an introvert vlog, then you can check my first travel vlog. It didn't happen overnight. Back then, when I was looking for ways to earn money online, I found YouTube. Back then, the internet was so slow, so horrible, that the speed was around 5 to 10 kbps in my area where I live in the hills. But when I shifted to city, I started creating videos on the internet. So this is not my first channel. For the first year, I spent time in creating computer tutorials because I was into computer stuff. Later, then I jumped onto another channel where I used to show my face for the first time and review products that I bought. And after that, travel vlogging was the third channel where I spoke in front of people. And in India, trust me guys, when you hold the camera in front of public, I'm sure that you will seek attention. Few of you may be curious about the background. This is an old home, and sadly 3 years back in Uttarakhand Garhwal Hills, the village homes, old traditional village homes, are made up of mud, rocks and wood. But later, when these homes are not managed, are not being cared, the roof just breaks down. So these are the remains, and this was the third room. And sadly, I am extremely sad about this event of breaking this traditional house down. Back there, you can see the rock piles which were the terrace of this house. You can see the picture, and I think I wanted to rebuild this house back as it was. Now let's get back to the story. My first solo journey was towards south of India when I went to attend a marriage of a friend whom I met in the army exam in 2018, where I and he was failed together. So later, after 1 year in 2019, he asked me to come to attend his brother's wedding in a location named Bidar, in a city named Bidar, which is in Karnataka. So I got an opportunity and I caught the train. So the first 5 days I spent with his family attending the marriage function, and it was my first time among the people who used to speak a whole different language. As you may know, country India has a lot of languages, not just Hindi, English, and a lot of regional languages. After the marriage ceremony was over, I went to Hyderabad, where I stayed in a backpacker hostel, where I met the coolest people in my life, and those were the travelers. And that stay turned my whole life. In the backpacker hostel, everybody was totally friendly. Everybody was talking to each other. It was like that those all were my friends. There, I met a lot of travelers from India as well as other parts of the world. As I am from the north part of India, and at that time I was in the southern part. So those guys told me to travel more and more to explore whole southern part of India. but it was my first solo journey, and at the time I was still learning what to pack and what not to. So that first journey stayed only 10 days. Rest of 5 days I explored Hyderabad with other travelers, and then I flew back to the north, and it was my first flight. My second solo journey was exploring around the places of Uttarakhand where a lot of people used to travel. So I started exploring and found out those were the religious places, and all the temples were situated at the height after long trekking of 7 hours plus. Again, I ended up in 10 days journey, but in that journey I met a lot of people who had the knowledge about trekking and clothing. From there I came to know about the trekking clothes, as in that journey I faced a lot of problems. So I started learning. After exploring that part of Uttarakhand, I took rest at my home, and then after 2 or 3 months in December, I again packed my bags, this time with extra gear, and I had just one plan in my mind: to enter Nepal and reach the northeast part of India. But when I entered Nepal, I thought, let's explore it. Luckily for Indians, we don't need any visa, so I can stay as long as I want, and the vice versa for Nepali people as well. In that journey, I wanted to do what I saw in those videos, like hitchhiking, couch surfing, and traveling without a plan. In my Nepal journey, I hitchhiked, got lift in trucks for the first time in my life, four-wheelers, car, and I still remember it was 30th of night when I had no sleep, and for the 31st I was sleeping in the bus, and on 31st I stayed in a hostel where I met another traveler who was going for a trek, and I joined him. 31st I was in the capital city of Nepal. Next day we had to move towards Pokhara where trekking will start, but from Kathmandu to Pokhara we didn't take the bus. Instead we started walking. Whole day we walked, and I still remember at night time we were asking for lifts. The road from Kathmandu to Pokhara is slant one. It's totally a hilly area, so nobody was giving us the lift because it was hard to stop, and it was almost night, and that night was totally adventure. So that whole night we didn't got the lift. Later a police officer helped us and stopped the truck, who gave us the lift for 10 kilometers, and he warned us that do not ask for a lift, otherwise we would get robbed or maybe involved in an accident. So after that I thought, it's enough, now we are going to take the bus. I told another guy whom I met a day earlier that now we will be traveling through a bus. Took a bus who left us in the middle of somewhere at 12 a.m. There, 2 police officers helped us to get another lift, and guys, trust me, that lift was the most horrific lift of my life. Now you may think, what happened? Well, nothing happened. When we both got into that truck, that another traveler, Subham, he slept, and I couldn't sleep. When I am in the trucks, I used to interact with people. So I started interact with the driver, and he had a helper who was just a kid. So later that driver started asking me about the financial questions, like, how did you enter Nepal? Was that bus an air conditioned or ordinary? And a whole lot of questions regarding my finance or my personal background. So that was an alarming thing which rang into my mind. Because before this journey, I read a book written from a solo traveler where an incident of robbery happened with her. So, in that book, she exactly mentioned the conversation which happened between her and the driver who robbed her. And because of that, an alarm sounded in my brain. Good morning, guys. It's another day. So, continuing my story from that horrific truck moment. Well, after I was bombarded by those questions, that book came into my mind, and I'm not sure whether that guy was about to rob us or not, but I avoided giving him all the information. Otherwise, most of the time when I meet people, I speak so much that maybe if you are not so talkative or you are unable to listen a lot, then you might get annoyed. Why is this guy talking so much? Since I started traveling, I started talking way too much. So, luckily, the driver left us in Pokhara at around 1 or 2 a.m. It was New Year, and we both, me and another traveler, Subham, we were surrounded by, there was a police, and we straight asked them about the rooms, but they were charging a little bit more. It was in our expectation. However, that amount wasn't that much. So the whole night we stayed outside. So we walked. Later we reached to the lakeside. If you are ever planning for Nepal, you know Pokhara. There we were bombarded by police officers. They thought that we are some kind of bad guys. So I talked with them, I showed them my backpack and all stuff, and later they just scolded us that we shouldn't be roaming at night. So we sat in front of them, and it was chilly January 1st. So whole night I was waking, my friend was slept, and then in the morning we checked in the hostel. Later, the next day we started process of trekking where I met another solo traveler from Russia. So then we three guys teamed up together and started trekking. And guys, the first day of trek was totally hell. We hadn't eaten since the morning, and the whole day it was raining. If you had been in a rain with two backpack and a raincoat, then you may understand the situation. Like, you are sweating from inside and outside is also wet. So that was the situation of first day. That was a very hard start. Next day, my friend Shubham left back for home because he wasn't prepared for this trek. Later, I and the Russian traveler joined, and I kept on trekking with him for the next 10 days. And that trek was so remarkable that I experienced a lot of different emotions, and I had my snow walk. Yeah, guys, you heard it right. It was my first time walking in the snow. Met a lot of experienced trekkers, amazing people from all around the globe. And in that trekking part, I made a lot of friends. It was an amazing time, and I trekked in the Annapurna region. So if you may be planning about that, then you can check out the videos from my main traveling vlogging channel. And remember, guys, I have added the English subtitles and trek route information, so it will be easy for you to understand. After the grueling 10 days of trek towards the altitude of 4,200 meters, finally it came to an end. Then after resting 2 days at Pokhara, I decided to volunteer. If you are still with me, then you know I was inspired by an Indian traveler who had tried volunteering. So I thought of trying volunteering for the first time. I searched from a network called World Packers and went to a remote village in Nepal where I volunteered for 1 week at a school. And there again the journey to reach that village was so horrific. And there as well I met people from all across the world and I made a lot of friends as well. Those 7 days were totally cool in my journey. And then after 7 days of volunteering, I went back with those new guys to Pokhara, enjoyed a day there, and then sadly we all separated. In the end, there were two people, me and another guy, another traveler from that volunteering group. So after spending a day at Kathmandu, he also left, and it was around 26th or 27th of January. And at the time, the news about the pandemic started to spread. Everybody was in masks, so I was also afraid of that situation. And I also booked the bus and went towards the different side of Nepal. And after that, I entered to India and then from there to Bhutan. Now, Bhutan is a different story where I only was able to spend 3 days because for the first time, I was continuously traveling without taking much rest. And I remember that entering at Bhutan border was around 24 plus hours of no sleep at all. It was like a whole mess in my head. So I started taking bad decisions. First, I booked a whole taxi and that impacted my finances. So in Bhutan, the people were awesome. I had some of the sweetest encounters in Bhutan. I also went to a monastery that is known as Tiger's Monastery. It is between the what we call the rocks, between the rocks. Yeah. So if you are planning for Bhutan, make sure to check that monastery out. And I spent 3 days with a guide who had a car. So later I went back to India, to West Bengal, where I took the train towards the Assam, and there situation started going bad as I wasn't so precautious about my health that I caught diarrhea or loose motions. And in Guwahati, I still remember I was running towards washroom, and even at the time the situation was not so bad. And then again I teamed up with another travelers from south of India and went towards Meghalaya. There I stayed in a campsite in a village called Snonpiding, and the river and the river was Umangot River is which is the transparent river of India. So make sure to check that if you guys travel towards Meghalaya after this pandemic calms down. So I still remember that in the morning at around 4:30 or 5 I was rushing towards the public washrooms which were 500 or 400 meter away from the campsite. I still have that feeling. So remember guys, always take medicines with you. Those 2 days camping was really, I know, struggling with myself. And later I went to Shillong. Yeah, I went to Shillong where I stayed there, and the people from the hostel helped me in getting the medicines. And then at the time that pandemic news was not so high in India, later I went back to Guwahati, where I stayed 2-3 days in hostel taking the rest, and at that point I gave up from traveling because I was ill. And then for the last 2-3 days of my journey, I did my first couch surfing in Assam Engineering College. It was an amazing experience, and around 10th of Feb I took the flight from Guwahati to Delhi, and from Delhi I went back towards my home here in Uttarakhand. So that was my third journey, which was the last one. Let's hope there will be the time when I will pack my bags again and will start another journey. Now, the external journey completed in February 2020. Yeah, that's right. After that, lockdown. After that, in March, I still remember I was caught by jaundice, and luckily I figured it out when my eyes turned yellow. And from the March to September or October, I was in bed. And that was the period of lockdown in India. And I became so weak that holding the camera or even the camera stick, it was impossible for me. Later, I shifted back to the village. Now, this is a whole different story. This is the village home where my parents and my grand and grandmother used to live. It is an ancient home. This one is the oldest one. I don't know, it's maybe 70 or 80 plus year old. However, there used to a rock roof. Sadly, that is broken, and this one was built around 1990s or a little bit in that time. So when I was young, my mom dad left this village home and went towards the city of Srinagar with my grandfather, where I did my schooling. So this home left abandoned, and this is the place where I spent my childhood. So it was drilled in my memories. I generally, in my childhood days, avoid coming to this place because when I come at this place, I was bombarded with whole lot of memories. So I was planning to come back here and to live at this place since 2018. And as I used to earn online, I used to work online in YouTube and all other stuff, so I had the freedom to come here. And my major concern was about the internet. So still here in an Indian village, there are a lot of places where you won't find the cell phone signal, and that's the case inside. So I figured out how to fix. At the terrace there were signals, so I got a signal booster so that I was able to get the connectivity inside. And because of some networks like Geo, it was all possible. In the village, another journey started. That journey started within, and continuously right now I am still working on it. The journey within is very long. It's a long process of fixing what's the issue inside your mind. When I am in pain, how I react, how I respond, what are my thoughts, and all that stuff. And I'm trying to figure that out, and also working on stuff like controlling my anxiety, increasing my confidence. And there is another thing which I wanted to tell you guys, that when I was traveling, I started uploading videos. I made an Instagram account, and I started getting a lot of questions, a lot of this and that. And then I found myself always responding to emails, Instagram messages, and YouTube comments. And there was a point when it started affecting my mental health. So it is very important for you guys to have a better focus at your mental health, because this is the thing. If you are mentally fit, then you are able to live your life with happiness and joy. While I was traveling, I came to know a lot of things about myself, and I figured it out that we travel, most of us may think that we travel to see outside, but that's only a part of the journey. While traveling outside, we also come to know about us from inside. And there are a whole lot of experiences, what I learned from traveling, which I can share, and I can also share about the journey within right now, which I am working at. So, if you guys are interested in that and you are still with me till now, which I don't know, I won't expect anyone to be here with me till now. Well, if you are still here, then I'm very, very thankful for that. And if you want, so I will be ending this video because it is going too long. And if you guys are interested to know more about my story and in detail, let me know in comments and I will plan another video. So that's all for this video. And then what I can say, thanks for watching till now. And yeah, financially right now I am working things out, so this is also another process so that I can travel in upcoming years. Anyway, thanks guys for listening my story, and if you had yours, let me know in comments. Thank you. So it's the time to end this. Thank you and goodbye.